When Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in an airstrike on February 28th, governments and pundits around the world immediately began to speculate who his successor would be. At first, news programs announced that Khamenei's son would likely be his successor.
Iran naming its new supreme leader. He's the son of the late supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Given his widespread support and the need for a quick decision, the decision was announced on Sunday, March 8th.
Is Mojtaba Khamenei. Allahu Akbar!
Most reports about Khamenei Jr. simply stated that he was the dead leader's son, that he was a shadowy figure, and would likely be the consensus candidate, at least for the time being. The odds of political enemies, the Iranian people, and American and Israeli smart bombs killing him being quite high at the moment. Mojtaba has a reputation as a hardliner, and it's unlikely, at least in the near term, that Iran's new leader, for a variety of reasons, will seek peace. Two of those reasons are that the new ruling Ayatollah's wife and son were killed on the first day of the American-Israeli operation at about the same time as his father. Odds are, Mojtaba is not in a compromising mood. But then again, he reportedly never has been, not when the security of the Islamic revolutionary government is concerned anyway. We'll see if he feels the same about his country. They aren't always the same thing, though the Iranian government would like the world to think that it is. Many outside observers believe Mojtaba was selected by the Assembly of Experts as an expedient move and to honor the memory of the senior Khamenei. Few in the United States know much about him, so A Day in History aims to share this important information quickly. When the news was announced, many people, even inside Iran, were stunned. The younger Khamenei, age 56, has never held public office, but he is the son of Iran's longest ruling leader and, more importantly, has the backing of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, widely considered the most powerful government body, even more powerful in some ways than the military. The IRGC serves as the militant spearhead of the Iranian revolution and government. Its branches control the police, security, and intelligence services, and are known worldwide for their primary purpose, exporting Iran's Islamic revolution and conservative ideas. These ideas are exported mainly by funding and equipping fundamentalist Muslim groups, not only in the Middle East, but worldwide. Making things more interesting is that the IRGC apparently let the Assembly of Experts know who they should choose. You see, Mojtaba is not only the son of the former political and religious leader, but also a power in his own right. Not long after his father was appointed to succeed the revolution's founder, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Mojtaba began building his power base. Being the son of the most powerful man in one of the Middle East's most powerful countries didn't hurt Mojtaba. He provided an extra set of eyes and ears for his father, always helpful in an authoritarian regime, especially when you can trust the source 100%. Mojtaba was just 9 when the Islamic Revolution began. It was a time of harsh crackdowns and the creation of a new society, supposedly modeled after the golden age of Islam. Ironically, that era saw scientific, economic, cultural, and even religious freedoms bloom throughout most of the Middle East. This is exactly what Ayatollah Khomeini and his fundamentalist movement did not want. When the Ayatollah died in 1989, Khamenei Sr., who had shown himself to be a skilled, behind-the-scenes political operator in a country with a long tradition of such maneuvering, was named Ayatollah, the highest-ranking Shia cleric. Khomeini himself was known as Grand Ayatollah or Imam. Traditional Shia belief holds that there are 11 Imams, advisors or relatives to the Prophet. Some traditions say a 12th Imam, a messianic figure, will one day arrive to transform Earth into an Islamic paradise. Many of Khomeini's followers believed that he was the legendary 12th Imam. When you are made the successor not only to the political leader of a country, but also to its religious leader and a possible messianic figure, you've got a lot of power. The government made sure that when Imam Khomeini died, it was known that Ayatollah Khamenei now clearly held virtually the same power, ordained, obviously, by Allah himself. Whether or not the regime lasts long enough for Mojtaba to be placed in the same position is unclear, but for now, he theoretically governs the country. What qualifies him for the position? We've already mentioned that he's qualified, essentially because the Revolutionary Guard Corps says so. He has been close to the IRGC for quite some time. A legend will soon form around the new leader. Images of him in his robes, arms extended as if unleashing a great force, the sun shining down on him. Somewhere, his father's image appears, and above that, a larger image of Khomeini, guiding him like stern spirits. If the regime survives, bank on it. Mojtaba learned the inner workings of the revolution and its main personalities. He saw its political maneuvering and the many life and death lessons of living under an authoritarian regime. He was a veteran of the Iran-Iraq War, taking part in many battles as part of the IRGC battalion. Being a combat veteran almost always boosts a person's political chances. So does being the son of the nation's ruler and a member of its elite formation. But Mojtaba wasn't like Odeh and Qusay Hussein, Saddam's two spoiled, sadist sons. Much like his father, he moved behind the scenes, gathering allies and building his own influence. One of his positions was a sort of gatekeeper for his father. His unofficial title was Deputy Chief of Staff to the Supreme Leader. Anyone who has studied authoritarian regimes will tell you, behind the strong man is the shadow man. This is the person who gets things done by controlling access to the leader. By doing so, he limits others' power and gains more for himself. Lavrenti Beria was Stalin's shadow man. Martin Bormann was Hitler's. His proximity to his father enabled him to study Islam deeply, and he is highly knowledgeable about it. During his time on his father's side, and especially as his father aged, Mojtaba built even more connections and, through his many allies, took over another very important organ of the regime, the Basij. Think of the Basij as the Iranian equivalent of Hitler's brown shirts, mostly dedicated supporters of the regime. And most are, though the perks and power help. From the ultra-conservative provinces, towns, and villages outside the main 9 or 10 cities in the country. Over the last few cycles of anti-regime protests and riots, the Basij, poorly trained, poorly educated, but dedicated supporters of the regime, have been called out to crack heads, often wielding metal bars or shovel and axe handles. After Donald Trump ordered the killing on January 3, 2020, Qasem Soleimani was killed in a drone strike. Mojtaba then became the leader of the Quds Force, the elite section of the IRGC. The Quds Force funds, equips, and launches militia violence across the Middle East. Simply put, Mojtaba led the most sinister and pervasive force in an already sinister group. That being the case, he likely knew what would happen in Israel on October 7, 2023. Any questions about what kind of leader Mojtaba might be? Weeks before the latest American and Israeli attacks on Iran, the Iranian government, led then by Mojtaba's father, ordered police, military, IRGC, and Basij to open fire on anti-government, pro-democracy, and women's rights marches. Western outlets and reliable Iranian sources now put the number killed by the regime at about 30,000. Think of the anger in the US at the killing of 2 demonstrators in Minnesota by ICE officers. Multiply that by 15,000. Now you have an idea of how many Iranians feel about the regime and Mojtaba Khamenei.